Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, how about a little game of chicken? Inside these containers are some critters that most would agree are a little creepy. I don't know what I'm touching.
You probably have hundreds of them in your hand right now.
Yes, our Inspector Planet is at it again. This time, she'll introduce us to a shark that can do something you may not think a shark can do. Let's just say it gives all of us new meaning to the phrase fish out of water. And we're taking a look in our own backyard, and this time spotting some animals that can take to the sky.
Oh, they're so cool.
This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. They make up the largest animal group on Earth. In fact, insects have been on Earth long before dinosaurs. They come in all shapes and sizes, and let's face it, some are more creepy than others. Emily, we're here at Jungle Gardens on a beautiful morning, and you're going to teach me something. Good luck. And you're going to teach me something about insects?
Yes, we have an awesome challenge going on right now, and it's called Creepy Crawly Challenge. And we have 3 containers right here that have live insects inside of them. So you're going to stick your hand in, see if you can guess what it is, and at the end I'll go through all of them to tell you a little bit more about them.
Okay, do they bite?
No, they don't bite.
Okay, well, here goes.
All right, first one.
Ugh. I don't know what I'm touching.
You probably have hundreds of them in your hand right now.
Yes, I do.
Any guesses?
Well, they're not ants, that I can tell you.
No.
I have no idea that there's many. Whatever I'm touching, there's a lot. These were soft and kind of mushy. Mm-hmm. And this is hard. Whatever it is, it's crispy. I don't know what else to say.
Crispy?
Good. Okay.
Descriptive. Okay, this one is my ultimate favorite right here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like these guys, but I love them.
I don't feel anything.
Oh, you gotta feel around. They move kind of fast.
Oh, there's something scurrying.
Yes.
Small and scurrying, yes. Okay,
All right, any guesses on this one?
I would think a beetle of some sort, maybe?
Good guess. All right, so let's start with the first one. You weren't sure what it was. You knew it wasn't ants, but this is actually green bottled maggots. So these turn into the green bottled fly, like that common house fly that you think of.
Yes.
But these guys are amazing pollinators. So these, if you look, they're wiggling all around. So you did feel some of that substrate they're in, but these guys are really awesome. They're that pink color because of the food that they eat.
And they're falling they're falling into our
everywhere.
bowl right here. Yes. Well, that explains the mushy feeling. Yeah.
All right. So for this
Okay.
next one, this one's more common than say the maggots were.
But it was harder, right?
Yes.
To feel. Okay.
So these are mealworms.
oh,
So this is the larval form of something called a darkling beetle. So it'll turn into a larger black beetle. But these guys are actually being used a lot right now in research to break down styrofoam. So something that can't be recycled right now. So if they can ended up figuring out that these guys can actually break it down. So hopefully that'll be something that goes in the works very soon. But really amazing.
And when we sometimes have foods in the kitchen that we will say they grow mealy, are they responsible, or will we see those in that?
You shouldn't. So these guys, you're mostly gonna find out in like leafy debris under trees, and they help with decaying material. So you shouldn't find these, but I think that word is from because how hard and crunchy they are, how it kind of turns into that
very much so.
stale-like texture.
Yeah.
All right, so this is my favorite right here.
It's a beetle, right? Beetle.
Is that what you think?
Well, I think.
All right.
My most.
So this is a discoid roach. So
It's a cockroach.
It's a cockroach.
It's a cockroach, yes.
These guys can't fly. So they have wings, but that doesn't mean that they can fly. So a lot of our animals here love to eat these guys. So we breed our own colonies here. And we know exactly what they're eating, so we know exactly what our animals are eating. So we give them fresh fruits and veggies, so we know exactly what they're eating.
And you do know that dogs love to chase them and catch
Yes.
them. Yeah. Well,
You want to hold them?
no.
You sure?
No, because I chase them all the time. Okay, sure, they might give you the heebie-jeebies, but insects and bugs aren't bad. In fact, they're really an important part of the ecosystem. They can help with pollination and decomposition. That's one insect myth we can squash. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes,
Wow, sharks. We know that they swim in the water, but can they actually walk on land? Coming up next.
every dog deserves a lifelong, loving home. Donte's Den provides a pristine, comfortable haven for dogs that have been abandoned or surrendered by their owners. We ensure every pup in our Joyful Dogs adoption program receives lots of love and attention, is properly immunized, spayed or neutered, and is in good health. Prospective pet parents undergo a thorough adoption review to ensure a lifetime of love and care. Find your new furry best friend at Donte's Den. For more information, go to dontesden.org or call us at 941-219-3730. Donte's Den, continuing the love. Science is everywhere, and it's all around us. It's observing the world, forming questions, and the willingness to find the answers. It's something our Inspector Planet does every day, and you can too.
My name is Dr. Tracy Fanara, research scientist and environmental engineer. At Moat Marine Laboratory, I use investigation and experimentation to answer questions. Sharks. They are fast, they are strong, and they are apex predators in the ocean. We see them swimming, but what if a shark could walk on land? Wow, Rebecca, these guys are actually sharks? They look like something between a salamander, a snake, and a fish.
Yeah, so obviously these sharks don't look like a typical shark because there's about 450 shark species and we're still finding more. These particular sharks are called epaulets and they are a shallow water species.
Wow, that's right, because most sharks like really deep water. It's really interesting that these guys have evolved to be in the shallower waters. Now, what are those spots on their back?
Those are called eye spots and they help with the shark's ability to kind of stay away from larger predators. They look like really big eyes, so a predator would think this is a huge animal, I'm probably not going to be able to get after this guy. So they trick them. They're called epaulets because those spots look like the epaulets on a soldier's uniform.
That totally makes sense, and wow, that is very tricky. I love that.
They kind of can swim a little bit, but they also have that ability to walk. Yeah, sharks can
What?
walk. Who knew? I know.
Wait, actually walk.
Yeah. They
Out of
have that
water.
ability. Yep, they can even walk out of water. Their pectoral fins are a little bit different than most other sharks. So they're a little bit smaller, they're more separated from the body, and that gives them that mobility to kind of do a walking motion.
That's crazy. I see. They're kind of using them like feet.
Yeah.
That is seriously shocking. I had no idea. You just assume that all sharks swim.
Right.
A fish out of water is something that it's a saying, meaning that it's somewhere you're not supposed to be. But apparently for these guys, they can do that. So how long can they stay out of water before they have to go back in?
For the epaulet sharks, they can stay out of water for about an hour. They have that ability because they kind of slow down their heart rate, focus all the blood to their brain, and then they can just pop out of the water, walk to the next tide pool, and there you go.
We are going to race. I am an epaulet shark. Obviously, I have eye spots on my shoulders. I also have advantageous back fins in addition to my pectoral fins, and these fins have been adapted so that they can rotate.
I'm a pelagic shark, so I can only swim and move using my pectoral fins.
All right, on your mark, get set, go. Come on, Devin, you can do it. I won epaulet wins. An epaulet shark is one species of shark that breaks the mold of what we typically think of when we think of sharks. I cannot believe I just saw a shark walking on its fins. Remember guys, anyone can be a scientist or an engineer with some passion, hard work, and innate curiosity of how the world works.
Coming up next, they tell me this is a delectable treat and I should try it. Stay with us. Insects are actually considered a delicacy in certain countries, and some say this trend may be catching on here in the United States. I'm always hip to the newest craze, so I had to give it a try. So many of us think of insects as dirty. We don't like the feel, and one of those had a scent. I don't remember which one, but they had a very, very strong scent. Is this safe for us to eat, really?
So it's definitely going to be about where you start. So like we start with the larval form. So that's going to be its first form. So if we know exactly what's going in it from then on, then it's going to be perfectly fine for us to eat. Insects are actually now becoming a part of everyone's diet in a lot of places all over the country.
Oh, fudge.
So yes, we have cricket brownies. So it's made out of ground up crickets, and it's a great source of protein. We also have some roasted crickets and some roasted mealworms, so just like the guy in the center.
Huh. Well, I'll be. So these are the roasted what?
Those are roasted crickets.
Now I suppose that you would like me to try this.
Yes, which one would you like to try? We can do it
the
together.
Brownie.
The brownie?
I'm a brownie person.
All right.
Now, if I didn't know what was in here, I wouldn't be able to
You
tell?
should be able to tell. It's just like the powder form that you get at the grocery store. Add some eggs and some vegetable oil and you're ready to go.
I have to say it's tasty, but it's crunchy.
It does have a little,
It's not nuts.
no, more like almost like a more grainy.
Yeah, but it's very, very tasty, I must say.
And insects are an excellent form of protein that's going on now. And a lot of countries already eat these every day. But you got to think about how much land this is going to take, how much less land this is going to take up, and how many people we have in the world. It's not going to be sustainable to feed everyone a steak off of a cow.
So Emily, why insects? Why are we really leaning towards this?
So insects are a vital part of the ecosystem. You got to think with butterflies pollinating, actually our green bottled maggots are one of the best pollinators as well. So that's how we're going to be getting our flowering plants. We're going to get our vegetables and different things like that. Also, even like decaying material. So branches that have fallen, leaves that are fallen. If we don't have insects that are breaking that down constantly, it's just gonna pile up and pile up and pile up, and our world's not gonna be the way it is. So they play a very important role, and there's more insects in the world than any other animal. So they're really, really important to the ecosystem. Other animals eat them, they break things down, and they're actually becoming a source of food for us.
So this is the future.
This is the future. This is where it's going.
So you do feel that nutritionally, we're going to get everything we need out of this.
Yes, so insects, actually, crickets have 2.2% more iron than spinach. So your kids don't like leafy spinach green? Just give them some crickets.
Well, let's pull up a cup of coffee and have some more brownies.
Let's do it.
Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, what's in your backyard? We're exploring what interesting animals we can find when we stop and just slow down for a moment and take a look around. From tiny creatures to big predators, chances are your backyard is filled with interesting animals. And sometimes it's the ones that are often overlooked that are the most fascinating.
You can find wildlife everywhere, whether you're in your backyard or the local park. There are animals to be seen. And sometimes you just need to follow those little clues like a hole in the dirt or a ripple in the water to find things that you didn't know were there before. Oh, wood stork. This is actually an endangered species. They are on the endangered list. And they love to inhabit areas just like this one, nice salt marshes. That's a tricolored heron right over there. And that is their fully grown size. And they do have three colors, three main colors on their body, which is why they're called the tricolored. And then this is the little blue heron. Now with birds, they often look different when they're younger as opposed to when they're fully mature. And although this adult bird is bluish right now, when it is a juvenile, it's bright white. Looks like it's been grooming itself with all those feathers on the end of its beak. So these pelicans have just started to come down from more northern areas of the US, like the Great Lakes area. They even live up into Canada. And they're coming down right now to get away from the cold weather. This is one of the largest pelican species across the world. It has a wingspan of over 9 feet and it weighs over 15 pounds, which is actually really heavy for a bird. They're not albino. Nope, they're white pelicans, and actually on the underside of the wings you can see it's darker. They actually do have black striping on the underside of their wings. Oh, they're so cool. So when they fly in a V formation like that, the first bird is actually taking up most of the drag. So any of the animals that are following behind it are in an easier kind of airspace where it takes them less energy to fly. And a lot of birds will actually take turns. So there will just be one leader for a short amount of time, and since it's working the hardest, it'll switch spots with some of the other birds as they continue to migrate. So right now we have the bird's eye view. We get to see all of these animals from where the birds would normally be up in the sky. Right now, these birds are down on the ground, so we've switched spots. They're hunting while we're looking at them. Being up high is a great place to observe animals because you just have a much broader view. So you can find out the fish that are jumping over there. You can learn about the patterns of ways that birds hunt, and you can watch people as well. And these downturned beaks are perfectly shaped for going deep down into the sand like we're watching right now. Although they don't get the downturned shape until after 40 days post-hatch. So when the white ibis is hatched, it has just a normal straight bird beak and downturns with time. Along with all the animals and plants that you might find in your backyard, you might also find trash. Trash, like plastics, are often found where wildlife live, and they can mistake it for the things that they normally eat. So Take 3 for the Sea is a worldwide hashtag going around so that we can help save these animals and prevent them from eating it on accident. Take 3 for the Sea means picking up 3 pieces of trash on a daily basis, and working as a team, we can help clean up our environment and prevent these animals from getting hurt because of our mistakes with our trash. That's Take 3 for the Sea. Take 3 for the Sea. Take 3 for the Sea.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Donte's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Donte's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dontesden.org. This is Jewel, and Jewel is an 8-year-old Akita. Isn't she gorgeous? But Dr. Greiner, she needs medicine.
And I don't think she'll be a difficult patient.
No. But you need to tell us, what's a good way to give her the medicine that she needs?
There are a whole variety of little pocket treats now that you can put a little pill in the hole, squeeze it shut, and it's just down the hatch. Some dogs have dietary restrictions, however, where you can't use things like this due to sodium content or whatever. And so any kind of soft food, some of the cheeses work really well. Liver sausage works quite well. But if I hook or by crook to get them down the hatch at the appropriate times, depending on what they're getting. Some of the medications need to be timed fairly critically. Others do not. Some of them really can't be given with a large amount of food. For instance, probably the most classic one is tetracycline. Our professors pounded into our head that the best way to waste tetracycline is to give it with a meal, because they just won't absorb it. So if you have a little pill pocket like this or something, that's fine, but definitely not with a meal. Wait an hour before and after.
Now, she takes medicine for arthritis because she does have it in her rear legs. What's the proper time for her to get that?
Generally when they're most active, usually in the morning, and with food, because virtually all of those drugs, just like an NSAID for a person, can upset your stomach. And it's just much general on not only their intestines, but also their liver and kidney if you give it with food.
she's a good pill taker.
She's a great patient.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Now, of course, we are all familiar with the heartworm and the flea medicine. We usually do that around the first of the month because it's just easier for us humans to remember when to do it. Now, can those medications be given without something like a pocket like this? Or
Yes, they can.
okay.
But it's critical that you give them every month and to observe them for about an hour afterwards. There's a fairly high percentage that will actually take those and then go outside and throw them up, and they're not getting their dosage. And then people think, well, gosh, this stuff doesn't work. Well, it does if it stays in the dog.
Sure.
But you just need to watch them for a little bit after they get it, and it's just once a month. And whatever day of the month works best for you. If your house payment is made out every month on the 15th, keep the pills right with your checkbook. If you're a day or two off, that's going to be fine. Just make sure they get it every month.
Now, some of us, even though we try to be very careful and write it down, we forget. Life enters in, we forget. Do we have a grace period with the heartworm and the flea medicine?
You do, and studies have shown that the compliance rate for giving every dose and not missing them for heartworm pills is only about 50%. About half the dogs miss doses or get them and throw them up. So if you go an entire month between doses on the heartworm pill, it's still going to be over 90% effective. So the heartworm pills are really terrific, which is not to say that you can give them every 2 months, because if you miss one dose, now you're already going every 3 or 4 months,
Right.
and they're completely ineffective at that point. But the flea products really wear out at the end of the month. You really need to keep reapplying those flea products every month, particularly in a climate like Florida where you have fleas and ticks year round. Up by me in the Midwest, we get the nice winter kill off, and we can kind of slack off in the cold months.
Right. And you know, another thing that I do have to ask, it seems like every 6 months or so we are seeing a new product on the market for the heart and for the fleas and so on. And a lot of these medicines now are going for 1 year. Perhaps it's an injection for 1 year. What would you caution us, if any caution is needed? Should we try those? Should we use those, or should we stick with tried
They've been
and true?
proven very safe and effective. And of course, the compliance rate is 100%. Once you get the injection, you're good for 6 months on the heartworm preventive. And they're a little more costly because they are an injectable medication, but they've proven themselves very safe and effective. As a general rule of thumb, I don't like to use any product the first year on the market. Just make sure there are no problems. These have all been around long enough, but they're very safe and effective.
That sounds great. Well, Jewel, what do you think?
Because I want pill pockets.
I think
Don't
she
give me a
would.
shot. I want
Yeah,
pills.
she wants a pill pocket. I love you. I love you. We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some wild adventures. Until then, thanks for watching.
Do you want my 2 hands on your other sides?
Excuse me, I will exit stage left. I hate those cockroaches.
I just showed you the one and only scary one. Does that make you feel better?
Just tell me what's in there. That's all. Just tell me what's in here. That's it.